you want to call in, please do 790-2040. Get bored by the Rivera guys here in studio. Tom, you can chime in at any time. Tom loves to talk about soccer, women's soccer.
Well, shame on you for saying that your son is boring. I don't think he's boring.
Okay. Can you tell we're family members? We talk choppily.
Well, I'm trying to practice. No, as I start, now that I'm a teacher, now that I'm back in America, I speak a lot faster than what I do in China. In China, my teaching voice comes out, and I start talking a little slower and with more enunciation, and
so
still can't spell. But
so does ni hao mean anything to you?
Ni hao, yeah, but the tones are a little off, so it's like ni hao.
Ni hao?
Yeah,
ni hao.
Can you say what it just means in English?
Hello.
Oh, okay. That's all?
Ni hao.
Sometimes a ni hao is a ni hao.
Good. You good, basically? But you had ma becomes a question. Ni hao ma.
Yeah,
you
how
good?
are you?
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you fluent in Mandarin?
I've started learning Mandarin. When I started, I didn't have any background knowledge whatsoever. They teach you when you get there. I'm at a I was on the plane. I was talking to a 5-year-old on the plane back here. So I think I'm at the level of talking to a 5-year-old about their favorite color and what animals they like. And I only know maybe like 4 animals in Chinese.
Well, that's cool.
And that's dog, cat, and geez, I don't even know anymore. Elephant.
Well, it used to be all you needed to know was dog. I think it was on the menu in some places.
Oh yeah, no want dog.
No comment there.
But it's not supposed to be that way anymore.
So, and by the way, what's your favorite food out there? Because he sent me some pictures that I'd be thin over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dishes that they know like Westerners would enjoy, like kung pao chicken. It's very delicious there. It's called gong bao jiding. That's the Chinese translation. Kung pao chicken. Lots of meat dishes. They're a very meat-driven society. I've had the privilege to try a lot of different types of meats. I've had all the parts of a pig. I've had a lot of the parts of a duck, of a rabbit.
How about Peking duck? Is that still
you have
to order that ahead of time?
That is one of the best dishes that they have, but obviously it's going to be better in Beijing, but there's lots of places in the larger cities where you can get that. But
you used to have to let them know like a day in advance or something.
Oh, I'm not sure, but there's special places who do it. So
okay, maybe it's because of the way they serve it that they need notice or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a process that they've had.
Yeah. Is it pretty expensive or what?
It's one of the most expensive dishes I think you can get in China from. Yeah, it's so delicious.
Tom, did you get dropped in China or something? What's the deal here?
I walked on the Great Wall.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
This is back in the mid-'80s.
Oh, really? Just a vacation or what
no,
was it?
My girlfriend and I, we decided we both liked to travel, and going to China, it was right after the Chinese government opened it up for Western travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that you had a cumbersome way of getting in. They were taking tour groups, but we didn't want to go with a tour group. We wanted to make our own way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How was the experience?
It was great. Mm-hmm. When I wasn't cold.
Yeah. So when did you go? What time of year?
It was in January.
Oh, okay. Because Cameron says that it's pretty hot here over there.
Where I'm at, it's one of the 3. They call it the hot. So hot pot is a very famous thing in China. It's kind of a communal thing. There's a pot of just boiling water with spices. It's very spicy. Where you just dip raw meat or vegetables into it and eventually cooks it. So it's kind of like a fondue in a way. The concept is similar and the translation is similar too.
Where were you?
Chongqing. So I haven't been up north. So Chongqing is southwest.
Is it near Kunming?
It's north of Kunming.
Okay.
About 4-hour fast train.
Okay.
I might be doing that trip when I get back because it's relatively inexpensive and just a couple days on a weekend. Yeah, that's but it's a little north, but it's one of the hot pots of China.
That was my favorite place, Kunming.
Yeah, I've heard great things. It's still kind of there's a lot of cities that I want to check out that I know I won't be able to once I'm out of the Peace Corps. I know I can go to Shanghai at any time. I know I can go to Beijing anytime. Those trips are relatively inexpensive in comparison to like Xi'an or Kunming or Chengdu or Chongqing. So I'm gonna try this next year of my service to go and explore a little bit more.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's take a break from our world travels here, guys, and we'll get Greg Hansen on the phone and talk about football and things going on at the U of A here on 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera, and now on the phone we have Greg Hansen from the Arizona Daily Star. Greg, how are you?
Good. Haven't seen you for a while. How you doing?
I'm working here or hiding out. Haven't seen you. You probably out and about playing golf in Colorado or somewhere.
Yeah, I did that all day today.
Oh, you golfed today?
Yeah, and it was. I think the high was about 70. So
where you at? Are you in town?
no, it's in Colorado.
Oh, so you see, I knew it. Just put a GPS on you, and you know where to find you.
Yeah, you can find about 12 guys from Tucson who are in the men's club up here, including Todd Mayfield. Remember him, the
Coach?
state champ?
Yeah, coach.
Yeah, played with him today. So we were talking about Tucson, and we were kind of glad we weren't there.
It's 104 today, something like that, 105. Yeah. When you said you were playing today, I said, well, you can't be in Tucson. You got to be somewhere else.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I bet. No, I bet. Come on, ideal conditions. So I was going to ask you, so you're not going to go to practice today, obviously, first day of practice. But let me tell you, you're obviously engaged in the city. Do you know many people in this town that are excited about this year?
How many hands do you need to use to count them outside of the athletic department? Now that's a legitimate question. I don't, and they haven't given you a lot of reason to be excited about it.
Correct. Yeah. No, there's not. Even I saw that Tate spoke at the Pac-12. That was a start. That was good. He said all the right things. I hope he continues on that road because it's going to be on him. I think Schooler obviously, but it's going to be him and Sumlin need to succeed this year.
I don't think there's not a team in the league that you go, wow, I really don't want to play them. So the opportunity's there. I was reading all the Denver paper this week, and heck, they think they have a chance in Colorado. So, and they're picked sixth in the South, and I can see they've got a fourth-year quarterback, Steve Montez. Heck, he could be the best quarterback in the league. Nobody's voting him that way yet, but he's had really good moments for like 3 years.
Is that the kid from El Paso? Who's the kid that's from El Paso?
He's the El Paso guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So he's been there. He's been there a long time.
Yeah, he's got. Don't you think he has the most experience in the league at quarterback?
Probably. Rivera is pretty good too. But yeah, no, I met a part of his family not too long ago because he has a younger brother that plays too.
Yeah, and he's well connected to Tucson. His the former Sunnyside player, Mr. Felix, is like a best friend of Stephen Montez's dad, and he could be a game changer because, I mean, when you look at the Pac-12 South, can you see everybody's picking Utah, but after that, heck, to me, Colorado could finish second in the Pac-12 South.
Which means anybody can finish second in the Pac-12 South. I'm not so sure Arizona. I'm sure you voted in the Pac-12 voting.
Yeah.
What did you pick Arizona? I had them fifth.
I picked them fourth, if I remember right, just because I didn't want to pick ASU ahead of them. Because they don't have a quarterback. That's the only reason. ASU doesn't have a returning quarterback.
Right. Well, it'll be a toss-up. It always is come November. I just don't know if there's much excitement. They're kind of flying under the radar by their own choice, but I don't think that sells tickets.
Yeah, that's a good phrase, by their own choice. I mean, it's a program that kind of seals itself off behind a wall and doesn't invite a lot of attention. I mean, that doesn't seem like the way a lot of marketing people would do it, but that's the way Arizona's done it for, well, how long, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask you something. And you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But okay, so they fly under the radar. We all kind of suspect it's because someone wants it that way. And Sean does too, obviously. Do you think that the powers that be stew because of that, or they kind of wish it was different, or whatever phrase you want to use? Or do they say, hey, it's not on us, let them do what they want to do?
A strong athletic director could get it any way he wants. What do you think?
I'd assume so. I would assume so. What? Oh, yeah, I think Cedric Dempsey would, or would have.
Oh, he would have been. I mean, he was in charge. But then, here's an example. Say you are Mark Harlan at Utah in his second year as the athletic director, and you've got Kyle Whittingham, who might be the best coach in the league. He can't really veto what Kyle Whittingham wants to do. I know they can hash it out, but Whittingham was at war with the previous athletic director who had been there 30 years.
And survived it.
Yeah. Sometimes the coach has too much power. I mean, we've seen that with Lute Olson. So that's a really good question, and we'll never know the answer. Does Dave Hickey go in and tell someone, look, you've got to be out in the public more. No one knows who you are. And maybe someone goes, I'm going to do it my way. He's got a 5-year contract, and they owe him all sorts of millions of dollars, so maybe he just likes to be, low-key.
Yes. Now the dilemma comes, how do we pay our coaches this money when nobody shows up to watch the game?
I mean, I was doing some research on Hawaii's football team yesterday. Hawaii's got a decent chance to beat Arizona.
They're an 11-point underdog, and I thought the same thing.
If a couple of things go wrong, Hawaii can beat Arizona, and then suddenly everything changes. You come home to play NAU, and they'll probably list attendance at 44,000, but it probably means there's 32,000 in the stadium. I'm not trying to paint a negative scenario, but college football is the margin for success and failure is so thin and when they first announced they were going to play Hawaii in the opener in Honolulu, you go, oh, easy win. And now the more you look at it, you go, not really.
Right. No, you don't know. You don't know because there's still a lot of questions on this team that you don't know what's going to happen. I think talent to talent, you think that they're going to win pretty easily, but who knows anymore?
In my first year in Arizona, Arizona's offensive coordinator was Steve Axman, who's one of the best they've ever had. And the thing I remembered, those were the days you could talk to coordinators and assistant coaches every day if you wanted to and get to know what was really going on. He told me the first thing to determine if a team is going to be good is your offensive line. After your quarterback, it's the offensive line. I've always remembered that. And it seems like every year I think back and wow, Steve Axman is right. And do you think the strength of Arizona's team this year might be the offensive line?
Oof. I don't know.
It could be.
Really?
It could be.
So, well, that's good news then. I don't know. I don't know because it's still way too early and the returners and all that probably, but it's hard to say. I mean, they need to be good in all spots just to kind of survive.
I think their really only problem point where teams could really take advantage of them is on the defensive line, and that's been the story forever.
Sure.
I mean, they've got good linebackers. Their secondary is okay. Their offensive line could be a plus. Their receivers are average. The running back's very good. Quarterback could be, a lot better than average. So there's a shot.
It's funny. It's not funny. It's just ironic or whatever word you want to use. 12 months removed from being a Heisman Trophy candidate, he's not even a blip.
I wish there was some kind of research like one of those ESPN statistical crews who could tell you if there was another situation like Khalil Tate from year to year where he was so highly ranked and then so just ordinary the next year. Because even in the Pac-12, Can you remember a situation like this?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I don't follow football programs this closely, but I don't remember one like this per se in forever.
Yeah. I mean, if he willingly runs 7 to 9 times a game, don't you think that would make Arizona a much better
Oh,
team?
no question. And you say 7 to 9. That's not very many. That's not very many. If he's running to 12 to 15, then I think they got a shot. The one problem with that, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, was that's 4 or 5 more shots the defense has at him.
Yeah.
And good luck with that. He could get hurt.
It's a big unknown. And obviously after he had those 4 games that made him a name nationally, he basically stopped running.
Yeah.
And last year he didn't want to run no matter what. So, to me, when they get into the tough games in the Pac-12 this year, even against kind of average teams, maybe like UCLA, if he's just, chucking the long ball, like a pitcher who throws 100 miles an hour but doesn't throw a lot of strikes, I mean, how do you win more than 5 or 6 games?
Yeah, no, and that's where I have him. 6 most at the most. I know the line in Vegas is 6.5. Where would you go with that?
That's a good one. It would come down to the ASU game, probably, like it always does. Maybe you go into that game 6-5 or 5-6, which I can see.
Right, that's what I do too. Yeah.
And unfortunately, to me now, it's like 20 years in a row of this: 5-6 or 6-5 going into the ASU game. A couple of exceptions, but Arizona hasn't moved off that spot for 20 years.
Right. What did you think of the U of A program naming the practice fields after Dick Tomey?
I don't think it was enough. You may disagree.
No. I let me hear your take on it, and I probably won't disagree.
Well, he's the most prominent man in U of A football history. When you look back now, at 20 years after he's gone, he accomplished more than any coach in any program over a decent period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Young in 5 years was outstanding. But not only was he a big winner 4 times or 6 times, but the way he went about his business reflected well on the community and the school. I mean, if you go to Oklahoma, maybe one of the 5 best college football programs in the country, Bob Stoops has a statue that makes Lute Olson's look like Mickey Mouse. Bob Stoops, terrific coach. But he's like the 3rd best coach in Oklahoma history, behind Bud Wilkinson and Barry Switzer. Have you ever seen a picture of the Bob Stoops monument there? It's unreal.
No. The last time, it's funny you said it because
do that with Dick Tomey.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. It would make something more significant. Yeah, no, I don't want to diminish what they did today, of course, because it's important. But I get you what you're saying. There's no question about that. I think over time, and his story. His story was how he came here and did a great job with the guys and fantastic man, all that stuff. And people have revised his history, which is great. But which is great. But I think in another 20 years he'll be this fantastic, even more fantastic man, and they might do something even more down the road. They'd be smart to. I'm not sure they will, but they'd be smart to.
I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but if you look at the Lute Olson statue, could you do anything less than they did for Lute's statue? Put it in a place where it's not available to be seen very much, and it's small, and it doesn't parallel what he did here and what he meant here.
Yeah, I don't know, only because I don't have much to compare it to in real life. I've been to the Chicago stadiums with Jordan and all those other guys, and I've seen some statues. There's no question that Lute is the pillar here in town. I found it to be odd because it kind of, to me, doesn't look like Lute. That's just me saying that. But, I don't know. They got the statue. There's that.
Yeah. Some schools just celebrate themselves better than others.
Yes, very much so. You've been here. You've been here long ago. You know how this works.
Yeah. Well, the Frank Kush statue at ASU. Frank Kush is the number 1 name in the history of Arizona State sports. Have you seen it? It's
no.
it's right between the football stadium and the basketball arena.
Uh-huh.
And unless you got a little map to look for it, you can't find it.
Yeah, now
And
that you say that, and I'm there often, I don't remember seeing it.
And it's underwhelming, just like the Luke statue is. And I was thinking, because ASU has shown so much growth and progress in the last 5 years under Ray Anderson, that maybe he would do something to make their history a little more prominent on display than it is. I mean, they've done a wonderful job with the Pat Tillman stuff. And they're just, ASU is, I think, is a step ahead of Arizona in attracting attention to itself.
Yes, there's no question about that, especially in the last decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. It doesn't really matter to me, but unfortunately to say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're in Tucson, it's the only game in town, you would just think maybe they would show more pride in their past. It was like the Button Salmon statue. Greg Byrne diminished it. He put it on a cheap little cement stand by the football facility, and it's 5 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just,
I don't know if money had something to do with it, because they didn't either get enough or they didn't want to spend enough on it. I don't know.
yeah, maybe Greg Byrne just didn't understand the Button Salmon stuff. Which, how many schools have a better history thing than the Button Salmon's Bear Down?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not many. I mean, win one for the Gipper and then Bear Down. That's about as good as it gets. And now it's on a 5-foot high pedestal that on game day a lot of people see it, but otherwise it's just kind of forgotten.
Right. Well, let's change gears, even though today's football, first day of practice. We'll see what happens in the indoor facility. Maybe a couple more things. Basketball, there had been some reports that maybe that news would break at some point talking about the NCAA sanctions. We're almost near that end of the month. Do you think something will come up anytime soon, or do you think we're going to have to wait a while?
By what I've read, it sounds like something will be said or handed out soon. I mean, August or September. Isn't that kind of what you've thought?
Yeah, early fall. Yeah, no question. Late August. It's because it's still kind of a short period since everything the dust kind of settled.
It'll be very, very interesting to see who the NCAA does penalize. I mean, will Kansas be one of them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you saw what they did with DePaul. I think it was DePaul recently.
Yeah.
Which they kind of didn't do much, and he got 3 games, and then whatever else they got.
Right, and then North Carolina State got
right.
Seems like similar punishment, and what those schools did aren't as publicized as what Arizona has been mentioned in. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised by anything extreme or not extreme.
Right. But after 2 years, or almost 2 years, 18, 19 months of all this big news, and then, it kind of fell flat.
Yeah. What a great expenditure of money by the FBI.
Very much so. Very much so. Well, Greg, enjoy your trip and return, I guess. We see you soon at the old ballpark soon. Yeah,
I'm going to drive through Santa Fe and honk my horn to acknowledge your existence.
Don't do that too loudly, because some of my guys will chase you down for some money I owe them.
Oh, yeah.
Or either that or kick your butt, say, Steve? Well, we owe him this.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, have a fun drive back. I love Santa Fe. Pick up some chili for me.
Thanks, Steve. I'll stop and hatch.
Yeah, thanks. Please do. Take care. All right, Greg. Take care. All right, that was Greg Hansen of the Arizona Daily Star here on 1030 The Voice. We'll come back after the break and talk more whatever. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera, your host. And in studio with me, I have a special guest, my older son, Cameron Rivera, who's visiting his dad from China. Hello? Is your mic on? Hello, is this on?
Oh, I turned the wrong one on. That's my fault. Mea culpa.
He wants to turn off mine, see?
I was just thinking you ought to mention if you have more than one son, maybe you might let's give us a a cosmic hello to your
Other son?
other son.
Yeah, well, my other son's in South Korea.
He's definitely not listening.
They never.
But he could
He could be.
over the internet with his computer.
2 days ago, he FaceTimed me on Facebook because he knew that his brother is with me. So at this time during the show. So yeah, no, Trey's in South Korea. He's an Army guy. He's a medic in the Army. So I have two guys on the road, very far on the road. So Dad's by himself.
And Cameron, you're with the Peace Corps?
Peace Corps, yes.
What do they have you doing anyway?
I'm teaching I'm teaching at a university. We all teach at some university or like vocational school. I'm at a higher level school. Some other people are at more rural areas. Generally, we're all in cities bigger than 500,000 people.
Which is easy to do in China.
There's over 100 that have over 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over 100 cities that have over 1 million population.
I believe that's the fact, yeah.
Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah. Mine has Chongqing. It's a province in its own. It's kind of a municipality province, kind of, if like New York City was its own state sort of thing. I think there's 20 or so million in the city. And then in the province in total, it'd be like 30 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so lots of people.
Cameron, we have two people in this near two rooms that don't even get along. How are 2 million, 100 million going to get along?
What do you mean we don't get along?
Two days ago,
billion.
my producer said I was crank. What did you call me?
Antagonistic. But then I was set straight by Mr. Kaufman
Yeah, and
that
then
you're sweet and kind. So I'm accepting that.
and yesterday was all about sweetness.
Yeah, I decided that maybe that would be a good nickname for your dad. We'll call him Sweetness.
Yeah, kumbaya. Yeah, well, Cameron thinks that I'm a nice guy, right, Cameron? We're on the radio, Cameron.
Of course.
Be nice.
Of course. Are you buying dinner later?
Don't I always? What's your
Well,
point?
no, Cameron. Your dad should be buying dinner to get you to say nice things about him.
That's what he said. That's what he said. So let me ask, as I asked Greg this, you're not excited about football, are you there, Tom?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I don't look excited? Well, it's probably because I'm not, but I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, you never look excited about anything, so I get it. This probably is your excited face. Like,
Well,
like Bob would be, oh, stop.
Gosh, when was the last time I was excited about anything? I don't know.
See, exactly my point.
Maybe it was Christmas one time when I was maybe 11 or 12. What about you? When was the last time you were excited about something? Oh, we got to chuck a lot of Cameron on that one.
He knows that doesn't happen very often. So
when he gets a like on Facebook.
Yeah, like on Facebook. Yeah, that one or two. Yeah, when he's paying attention to me. Hey, so this is kind of breaking news from via the Daily Star. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Rich Rod's former office assistant, has filed a federal lawsuit against the ex-Wildcats head coach and the university, alleging violation of due process, assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress.
And who would this person be?
This would be the same person that filed the suit in 2017, right before he got fired.
And that was dismissed or
that was
dropped or something?
No, it just wasn't proceeded with.
Yeah.
I guess this is the procedure with. The lawsuit filed Wednesday in U.S. District Court of Arizona by, I won't say his name just because, is almost identical in wording to the December 2017 notice of claim that led to Rodriguez's firing.
So this person did not get over her mad.
No, and I know they use her name. I will not. The woman is seeking unspecified compensatory punitive damages, back and front pay, attorney's fees, and interest at the maximum rate allowed.
But apparently not charging any physical altercation, but mental duress?
Yeah, if that's the case from the last one, that was the consistent word, I think, yeah.
Huh.
Melendez's, or the name, December 28th, 2017, notice of claim, which is a precursor to a lawsuit, sought $7.5 million in damages. On January 19, 2018, she filed an additional $8.5 million notice of claim against the U of A, saying the school is liable for Rodriguez's conduct.
Well, We'll see how this one goes.
What was my name of the basketball situation that kept going on and gone as the basketball turns?
Yes.
And now as the
It's like a soap opera.
as the football spins, we'll say.
Okay.
This doesn't end. It's not going to end. Bad publicity all the way around.
We have soap operas all over the place, the local level and the national level. I mean, it's crazy.
It's funny. Tell me, how is the United States perceived out where you're at in China?
I think that's too broad of a question because it's just there's 1.4 billion people there, so everyone has their different opinions about our relationship. But my relationship with my students is great. We had to talk about stereotypes in general, about their stereotypes about Americans, while we have our stereotypes about the Chinese population. I wasn't surprised by their stereotypes that all Americans are rich. We love to eat burgers at McDonald's all the time. You know,
one out of two.
the reason why they're stereotypes is just, the average person does make more than the average person in
But
China.
now they have McDonald's over there so they can judge whether it's good or not.
Yeah, no. And it's just funny because it's just like, for my see, like a lot of people also eat McDonald's here, and they have Kentucky Fried Chicken there too. They have a lot of they have Starbucks in every mall that I've been to. There's probably like 2-3 Starbucks.
Do they separate Americans out from Australians and Swedes now? Because when I was there, we were just kind of all grouped together as Westerners.
We're all Waigloren there, so we're all foreigners. We're all kind of perceived to not like spicy food. I tell them that Americans generally, unless you're my dad, like spicy food. Yeah, so I said Americans generally, have a Tabasco somewhere in their cupboard, or it's at any type of restaurant. You can always ask for hot sauce. But, Australians, Europeans don't tend to like the spicy food, which a lot of Australians visit China.
Yeah. That was true when I was there.
Yeah. But overall perceived, the average American does make more than the average Chinese person. So there's that stereotype that we're rich. That we're all rich, which obviously is not the case.
And did you say you were in Chengdu?
No, Chongqing, but Chengdu is right there, and we did training in Chengdu.
Is that in the Sichuan province?
So, yeah, it's the capital of the Sichuan province.
And that area is known for its spiciness in their food, right?
Yeah, Chongqing and Chongqing used to be part of Sichuan until like 95 or something. So it's all spicy. I love it. That's where also the pandas are. So you get to see like the panda sanctuaries over there. But this food is by far amazing, flavorful.
And you like the spiciness?
Yeah, I love the spice.
Although the Chinese spicy to me is different from Mexican spicy.
Yeah, so I think 300 years ago, China eventually got imported chili peppers that were brought to Europe. So it went from Central America, the chili pepper, came to Europe during that trade time period of history. Then China got those peppers from the Europeans. So they actually grow their own red peppers now, similar to what they have in Central America. But there's also the Sichuan peppercorn, which is a totally different type of spice. It's a numbing spice. You eat it, it numbs your mouth. It's not like spicy like red pepper is, but it like numbs your mouth. It has this. I like the smell and the flavor, but that numbing thing I just don't like. So I like flavor, like things flavored by it, but not the actual pepper itself, because it numbs your tongue.
To me, the Chinese spice, like in that yellow spice or that yellow kind of mustard texture, it's always that spice kind of always sneaks up on me. It hits me in the back of the throat, whereas Mexican spice, it's right there on my tongue. I get it immediately.
Yeah. So you bite into a peppercorn. I don't like the peppercorn, but like say I'm eating this cauliflower dish that I like to eat usually. Sometimes there's like hidden little peppercorns inside the cauliflower itself. I usually pick them out. If I miss one, I crunch and all of a sudden, like maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds later, you start feeling the numbness.
Are you getting hungry, Steve?
No, because I don't eat that stuff. like you said, I don't eat spicy foods very often.
Yeah.
I am not a very good Hispanic.
Well, what
man.
about your Santa Fe chili that you're talking about?
You put it on the side.
It's a drop in.
It's a drop in. That's right. I'm not a big spice guy. Really, I'm kind of like a. I'm not very good Hispanic. I'm just not. I'm Italian, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Well, all right. You're Rivera from the Italian side.
Yes, all my friends do say that. My two friends do say that. What do they think you are over there?
I think, I think whenever it's a foreigner, they automatically think, a lot of them do, I think Americans, or English. But people ask me, especially if I'm more tan, if I lose my tan, they do think I'm more American. But I do get Middle Eastern a lot, like Syrian,
Yeah.
Turkish, but I get that in America too.
You do?
Sometimes, yeah, by a lot of my friends in
When I was in
college.
Greece, they thought I was a Greek native.
Yeah, I think it's just like the olive skin type of midtone, but also I get German.
What did you remind them of? Adonis or something?
That's my voice. That's my
Zeus
story. That's your story and my story. I'm sticking to it, baby.
A
But
Greek statue walking around.
A geek statue rocking around. Excuse me, sir. Did you lose your muscles somewhere?
generally, but I get told German, English. I mean, it's just because there's just a foreigner is just such a broad term. It's anyone not from China or Asia specifically.
Mhm.
So they don't really ever can guess accurately because sometimes I'm tan. If I'm tan, then I get something else. If I'm more pale, because my city doesn't have a lot of sunlight throughout the year, so they guess I'm more American because I'm more white, light skinned.
So they just group everybody that's not Chinese as Western, I guess.
I don't want to get too political with this question because I see a lot of similarities.
I
in
didn't
there.
realize that was getting political, but that
Yeah.
is
Well,
over there, I guess.
It's just lumping. It's just I think just a bad trait that a lot of countries have, just grouping people into things that they just
Do you? This is a dumb question. I'm going to be political here in a weird way because I don't talk about politics here. But you know how it is here, and it happens often, where people will be speaking Spanish in public, in a public where there's obviously Anglos out there, and they don't want them to speak Spanish. Do they have the same issues over there when you speak English over there? I'm sure with your other Peace Corps folks.
I think the general population in China, if they see a foreigner doing something or something, they kind of just see him as a foreigner. Oh, that silly foreigner. He's wearing ripped jeans or something. But they wear ripped jeans over there too. But if I'm speaking English, it doesn't, bother them. And generally friendly people. I try my best in Chinese sometimes, and sometimes you just have to use your hand motions too, which helps a lot. And you just pull out Translate on your phone, and the problem is solved. It's not accurate. The translation is kind of hard.
I do that in Spanish. I do,
You still bargain a lot when you go shopping, and is Taikuela, is that too much?
Taiguela is too expensive.
Too expensive, yeah. That was one of the first things I learned.
We were quick story before we were done. During training, we had to go to a local shop to buy or grocery to buy fruits and whatever, and you're supposed to barter with them. Our Chinese was not good enough to barter, first of all, for mangoes or whatever. And actually, I think we actually insulted them a little bit because we thought the mangoes were we thought the mangoes were too expensive, but they were a little. I think they were offended by us trying to bargain with them. So there's not much bargaining anymore in the big cities.
Now that's why I did with the allowance that used to bargain with me. It didn't work, did it?
What allowance?
Exactly. I was a sports writer. What the heck do I get paid? Hey, let's take a break here. The first hour here on 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera. Welcome back to the second hour on Friday. Unhappy hour if you're with me.
What have you got to be unhappy about? Your son is visiting from China? Come on.
It was more of a generalization about me and the show. Unhappy hour.
Oh, now you're going to blame it on me. I hear you. I know where you're going.
Man, are you sensitive?
Well, who else is here?
Me.
It's just you and me and Cameron.
Me, I'm one of those therapists. Oh, looking at that narcissist. So you played a bit, a cup of coffee in college. Do you miss playing college soccer?
I miss soccer and I miss competitive soccer. In general, college was a great experience my freshman year, but no, it was a great experience. I miss it though. I miss college. My 1 year that I played in freshman year, but I do sometimes wish you always play different situations. You're ahead of what you should have done. like in college or whatever, you wish you can go back, but sometimes it works out in your favor in the end, which I think it did. But
how would you rate your college experience? And folks, anybody bored with my conversations, this is the only time I get to talk to my son.
But can they call in and talk to your son too?
Yes, they can.
790-2040.
It'll help the show go along. No, it was, to me, in my 20 years in college, best time of my life.
No, college was great. I mean, backstory. I played college in a small school in West Virginia. I got a soccer scholarship, pretty good one. Offered more money the second year. Decided not to go back, just due to many reasons, and primarily just me not enjoying where I was, and slowly not enjoying soccer anymore. But then I went to Rutgers for the last 3 years and enjoyed my time. Kind of lived a weird kind of college life. 1 year I was joining a fraternity and like just busy going to, had an internship and a job and having my own apartment right off campus. So that was my junior year. Sophomore and senior year I was commuting, which was a different experience. Commuting, working, and just going to school full time.
Yeah,
racking up debt.
Racking up debt, yes. That you'll be my age and still paying.
Probably.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But it is what it is, correct?
Yep.
As my saying always is. So you didn't pay, you don't pay attention to sports, I know that. Maybe you do soccer.
I mean,
soccer, kind of no.
I did growing up, but I just...
You did growing up? That's a shocker.
Yeah.
Are you my son? Really?
Yeah. What? I mean, I went to U of A basketball games every week growing up.
Yeah, well, you were spoiled.
Yeah, football games now and then, but I don't really keep up with sports.
Yeah, which is good. I don't care.
I know how to play the sports. I just, except basketball, I was never good at, but just,
move your body that way.
This way.
Oh,
Okay.
Are we doing YouTube today? Oh, you set it up? Oh, okay, cool. I guess you can watch this on YouTube. You can see what my son looks like, I guess.
Jeez.
Yeah. It is what it is. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? We talked about football. I got a race out there it's just starting right now, actually. 6:15 it starts. They get to watch them till about 6:35, 6:40.
Oh, they're doing evening practice or whatever?
Yeah, in the new facility. This is the first time
I thought they got the facility so they could be practicing in the afternoon. They wouldn't have to worry about the heat or the monsoon storms or anything.
Well, there's not any right now. They're going to be in that air conditioning big building there. Have you seen the big building? No? You haven't been by U of A, have you?
No. When I flew in, it was too dark.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to take them over there.
Yeah, well, we're going to go there after this. No. They're going to be in the big AC, big indoor arena. Should be cool. I mean, they used it obviously in the spring, but this is the reason why they used it, or they got it, because they can play with it or play in it now this time of year when the monsoons come and the heat is 100 and whatever it is today, 104.
Yeah, we saw 104 a little while ago. The last I checked, it was 102.
Yeah. It's funny because I looked at it. It was 111, and I said, 111 today? And it said, no, that was in Chandler.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Let them have it?
Up in Phoenix? Sure.
Yeah.
They're used to it, aren't they?
Yeah. So what else? Tell me what's going on with your life.
Just enjoying my vacation.
Yeah,
for 3 weeks.
And you just got here.
Yeah, I just got here 2 days ago.
So when you lived in New Jersey, I know the answer to this. You went to the Yankees game, or you went to the stadium?
When I first moved to Jersey, I went to Yankee Stadium, the old stadium.
Old stadium, yeah.
Before it closed.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever.
2014.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was still an old stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How was that? I've never been there.
It was nice. I mean, they converted. I was watching a soccer game in Yankee Stadium, but it seemed fine. Lots of it was crowded. I mean, I'm not sure exactly why they made a new stadium, just to have a new stadium. But it seemed like a fine stadium. I think there was fireworks too. It was for one of the first games of the new soccer team in New York. The
Red Bulls? No,
not Red Bulls. It's the new NYCFC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a nice opportunity to just watch.
And you like living in that area? I'm not a big East Coast guy.
No, DC is a lot better.
Yeah, no, I lived in DC when at your age. I lived in DC at your age. It was fun.
Yeah, no. Jersey is okay. New York City is too busy for me.
Really?
Too busy, too much going on. It's just I could never see myself living there. Even if after I get hopefully my my master's degree, I hope to be in DC. Or around the world.
Or using your political science degree somehow.
Whatever. It's not working. I have to get my master's degree.
taking care of your dad, living in the guest house. I'm okay with that.
Love Tucson. Glad I grew up here, but not the place for me as an adult.
I get it. There's not much to do.
We'll see. I'm going out tonight, but we'll see what we'll see. I'll
Good luck
see
with
what's
that.
out there.
Good luck with that in the summer in Tucson.
Yeah.
You've got someone texted me. What's been your best experience in China?
There's probably different ways I can answer this one.
Safely. Answer it safely.
No. I think my students' abilities, they've grown exponentially. They started this semester with, my English is poor. My students are intermediate level, way better than I am in Chinese. They learn English throughout their, younger lives. In school, whether it's good or bad, it's up to their individual elementary and middle and high school. But seeing their growth, I'm not sure if I'm definitely not the best English teacher in the world. I feel like I can't even speak English half the time.
Welcome to the Rivera world.
But their confidence level, my classes are engaging. They're never sitting in their seats for the most part, except if I'm giving a 15-minute, 10-minute lecture about the topic of the day. One of the best classes I had was teaching ordering food and just dialogues of waiters, waitresses, and diners at a table, and I was actually introducing them to my hometown, and they're ordering Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
So they had tacos, quesadilla. It was fun to see them trying to pronounce quesadilla and burrito and taco.
How would they pronounce quesadilla?
Just because they don't know the Spanish rule, like the double L is not, it's not, it's, the Y sounding word.
Tortilla.
Yeah. And it was for them to practice just pronouncing words that they just don't know. And it's okay if they don't know. It's not important. Just pronounce it as best as you can, type of thing, just to work on your confidence.
Cameron, do they allow tipping now? When I was there,
no.
It was against the law. You could not tip when you were being served food or anything.
I wouldn't say it's against the law. It just doesn't. You just don't have to. No tip. I think it's seen in a negative light. It's like you are assuming that I don't make money, and so you're giving me extra money than I'm asking for.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not allowed in Japan. It's like a disgrace if you accept a tip, or it's really bad if you give a tip. It's not to that scale though.
I don't know if it was against the law when I was there, but somehow I had the impression that it was, but you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think it's just it's just not part of their culture to tip more than what you need to pay for the food or whatever service. Thailand, I think they do tipping there. So each country in Asia is a little different. Unlike Europe, where I think generally you don't tip. Yeah.
In Europe, you don't?
My experience in Germany, you don't. I don't believe.
But do they figure it into the bill? Does the restaurant figure it into the bill anyway?
I think they pay their staff, a living wage, and then, or it might be included into their overall bill, service charge.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to do in a lot of American cities now.
Chime in anytime, Tom. What do I have to ask? You're more curious about it than me, and I'm serious. I'm serious because I've never been to China.
For myself, just my own mental health. I did join the international soccer team in Chongqing, which is a good experience. I wasn't so active this semester because it was just they practice on Tuesdays. I teach until 5:30 on Tuesdays, and I can't make it to the field. But joining that team was kind of cool. It got me back into a competitive atmosphere for soccer. The level was very high.
So mainly Westerners on that team?
I was the only on the Saturday games. I was the only American, and playing in the goal. And
so it was made up of
some English guys, a lot of guys from African countries. I can't remember what specific ones. Lots of Europeans.
Any Chinese?
There's one guy from China, but it's generally an international.
The idea
club.
was mainly for the internationals.
Yeah. And the level actually is. I mean, I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not, but I didn't expect the level from the Chinese teams to be so high, so physical, so competitive. The games are very physical. Which I don't. I love physical games. I hate when like the field players just collapse and fall all the time. Just to cause
the Chinese women's national team has learned that they need to be more physical than they used to be when they've been playing in the World Cup and in the Olympics against teams like Sweden, the United States, and such.
Well, yeah, general the people are on average smaller than especially Europeans, who are generally taller than even Americans on average. But so they have to be more physical than to just win the ball and whatnot.
So I'm wondering if that's filtered down into the general Chinese mindset as far as playing international players.
Yeah, I'm just sure. Just because the games are very physical, lots of fouls. I'm not sure just because it's adult league and and sometimes I play just to play without. I don't enjoy the yelling between teammates when it's adult league because it's just I've had coaches throughout my life yelling at me. In a positive way, constructive yelling. But right now, I don't need someone who is 40 years old telling me how to play how to be a goalkeeper, or how to do my job. So I've played most of my life as a goalkeeper. Now I'm not perfect. I mean, if I was perfect, I would be playing Division I soccer when I was in college. But I don't need someone as an adult when I'm trying to play for fun, competitive but fun, telling me what to do.
But at least you get to play soccer, so that's good.
Yeah, it's good for my mental psyche, just to keep me busy. Because there is a lot of boredom when it comes to Peace Corps.
No, I bet. We'll talk about that. I just had another text about another question. We'll take a break here on KVOI 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera. If you want to chime in just to maybe talk about weird stuff, we're talking about China and some sports at all. We had Greg Hansen on the phone in the first hour talking about UA football, what's maybe coming up in UA basketball, and just kind of shooting the breeze. I have my son in as my guest, Cameron Rivera.
Well, let's remind him the phone number is 790-2040. And
thank you very much.
We're always interested in having folks join in the conversation.
Yes, have you been to China?
790-2040.
Where you were at?
Or any place.
Yeah, Chongqing.
So I got a text. When you're out there, what do you miss most about the States?
Food, one, because there's just a lot less options for American food. We're in my city. I'm sure Shanghai, Beijing, there's plenty of options. Really good Western food. My city is still developing, a very massive city that's developing quickly, but the international level is not there yet. There's not like Chengdu or some other neighboring or other cities in China, like Shanghai and Beijing. So I miss food. We have to be a little careful with like alcohol consumption there when it comes to like gin and whiskey, because it could be unsafe to drink. It could be fake liquor for the cheaper options that Peace Corps volunteers can sometimes afford if we save properly and need the break once a month or whatever, just to have fun and enjoy. But also, one of my biggest anxieties is being stared at. So I don't like when people stare at me a lot.
When did this happen?
I don't.
Do they still do that over there? I mean, when I was there, they all stared at you. And my girlfriend, we were traveling together, she was a little over 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
so she was head and shoulders taller than any of the men around.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, they couldn't get enough of her.
I would just think, look at that man. He's a good-looking guy.
Well, I think that's where it comes from, and this is just anxiety that I've had because I lost a lot of weight my freshman year of college, and just being like I just don't want it to be stared at, because it's a very physical appearance country where they will just, the first thing that they say to you is, "Oh, you're handsome, you're pretty." Whatever, they'll always compliment, like say something about your physical appearance, and they're very honest when you are overweight or something, that you are fat.
Oh, they say
it's
that?
pretty. It's just It's just what they. That's just their culture. If their friend is like, or someone that they know is fat, it's like, oh, you've gotten fat, but in Chinese, obviously. So that it's just like I don't want to. I think I don't know. So just the fact that I go outside and there's some days there's maybe a group of girls trying to like sneak a photo of me from far, which makes me kind of nervous. It's like, what are you going to do with that photo? You know, I post it on your like WeChat, which is kind of like our Instagram. I was just like, oh, I met a foreigner. I saw a foreigner. I just, just the feeling. It happens in Chongqing a little bit. Chengdu a little bit less because it's more international. That's where all the pandas are. Shanghai, it doesn't happen. Beijing, it doesn't happen. But my city, it does. All the small cities, they've just maybe never seen a foreigner before or ever talked to one. So it's the extra attention of possibly being, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I'm like a celebrity in a way. And some foreigners do play up that role. Like, oh, I'm the foreigner. I get away with a lot of stuff. I can, but I just don't like that feeling.
It's kind of like Tom here at the radio station.
They're all staring at me. Well, if they are, I'm not paying any attention to it.
No, I was talking more of like, hey, I'm Tom. Don't mess with me. This is.
I've learned to say like, I don't like my photo taken in Chinese. I've learned to say like, if it's coming from a very negative point of view, like just stares when I'm working out or something on the side and trying to be away from everyone and just being in my own zone, and like an older person trying to take a video of me like working out and I'm struggling to do burpees or something, and just in agony working out in the humidity. I tell them like, have you never seen a foreigner before? Which they definitely have in my city, just maybe not as many.
Well, we stood out like sore thumbs because of our Western attire and the fact that we were larger than most of them.
And this was when China first opened, right? Like
they were still wearing blue or gray pajama-looking outfits or Mao jackets. That's basically all they wore back then.
Yeah, so that makes So it still happens like the the developing towns and cities. But the more international cities, it doesn't happen as much. The dress attire in Chengdu, for example, which I'm sure maybe some of these listeners haven't even heard of before. That's a very international city. People wear ripped jeans. Girls show midriff. Older generations, it's just like America. They're more conservative, but the younger generations are going out to bars, wearing, Western clothes or Korean clothes.
More stylish, more colorful.
Lots of.
Well, he was talking about the rich areas compared to the not so rich areas. How opulent it was.
Yes. Oh, if like Chengdu, there's lots of malls in these large cities. Everywhere you go, there's large malls with Adidas, Nike, all these brands. Some fake brands, some real ones. Well, there's malls with just real ones, and there's malls with just fake ones. But Chengdu, for example, has like Taikuli, which is like the name brand, Prada, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, all these rich brands. And you see it's very bling bling with wealthy Chinese, which I think leads to a belief that a lot of Americans also think that a lot of the Chinese are rich. Especially when like movies like Crazy Rich Asians comes out. They see like all of these Singapore Chinese, they're so wealthy they can afford all these luxuries and everything. It's the same thought process I think in China about Americans. Like, Americans can afford all this, food.
Do they have to pay as much for their fashionable clothing as compared to what Americans would have to pay in America?
Yeah, my student is dying for me to buy, or she's going to send me send me money to do it for.
Buy some jeans?
No, because they have plenty of jeans. Oh my God, everyone wears ripped jeans. But she wants me to buy bring a Coach bag because it's going to be a lot cheaper here.
A real one.
A real Coach bag, yeah. But there also is like Coach there. It's just more expensive because of taxes, imports, tariffs or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So how have the tariffs been? Have you been affected?
Not generally.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like no one likes to talk politics there. I'm okay with that. If
Yeah,
people
me too.
do,
Yeah,
I just say, I don't want to get into it.
Good for you because you get into it otherwise.
Well, in America, I'm a little safer too.
Yeah, true.
Not that I'm unsafe in China at all. I'm never. But it's just like, English levels are not as high there. Me having a conversation about politics is just going to escalate if something was perceived wrong, just like here in America.
When I was there, I would run into Chinese that were learning English and wanted to practice their English by talking with us.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to spend too much time talking with us because they were worried that people around the area would notice how much time they were spending talking to a Westerner.
Oh.
And that apparently was frowned on or politically incorrect.
Maybe no. Now it's just some people are just too afraid to approach you, or if they do, some people have really good confidence to just come up to you and want to have a conversation with you, add you on WeChat, which is again like our Instagram, just to practice their English with you. They have general curiosity. Just politics is something I don't like to talk with them, especially U.S. and China. Generally, though, we just have talks about just American culture in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd hate to ask you what they think about Trump. I don't want to ask you that. We'll ask you that off the air.
Yeah.
Do they even know who Trump is?
Chuanpu.
Trumpu.
That's Chuanpu. Yeah, that's his name. That's Trump in Chinese. That's just the last name Trump in Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
They have a funny name for Kim Jong-un, though. It means like fat or something in Chinese, like pang,
little fat boy,
something like that. It's quite funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize that they were like that. Hey, skinny. Well, that's hey there.
Have they hung a nickname on you, Cameron? Your student?
帅哥, which is handsome. It's just 帅哥.
So he's a Southern.
So the girls have decided to
also,
give you a nickname.
Well, it's also just in general you call someone younger. Just like if you want to call like the waiter over 帅哥,
and he'll listen and he'll go get you.
He'll get you. Yeah. No nickname though. My Chinese name means like honest dragon, Long Cheng, and Cheng Long is Jackie Chan's name.
Well, that's great.
Like the reverse of Jackie
Chan. At least they've honored you with dragon in your name, so that's cool.
Yeah. So
what would be a bad name? Like serpent or like eel?
Dog.
Steve.
Snake.
Steve. Yeah, Steve. Pretty much. That's American and in Chinese. We're Mud. My name is Mud.
But dragon, you're right up there.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah. Dragons are lucky.
What about a dragon that doesn't breathe fire? You're kind of like a...
But it depends on what you've eaten.
So with that pepper that he was talking about.
There you go.
Yeah. So is there a chance you might stay?
No.
But if you wanted to, you could.
I'm sure I can easily get a English teaching job in China with a program that teaches English for
not
like
much
EF.
money. Not much money.
No, it'd be great money in China. It'd be like the equivalent of making the same amount you would make in America, but then having the cheapness of China.
Yeah.
So a lot of foreigners there make really good livings in China because they're making the same money that they would in Europe or America, but it's a lot cheaper to live in China.
Are they still looking for English speakers to come to teach English?
Yeah. They definitely are. Private tutors. EF is a big program, English First, big program in China. I'm not interested. I want to go back to school. I didn't study to go teach English, but this was an opportunity to get more international experience, teach my culture, learn about Chinese culture, learn Chinese a little bit, knowing that I'm not going to be fully fluent.
When you join the Peace Corps, do you join for a particular period of time?
It's always a 2-year service, 27 months.
And you've been in it for how long now?
1 year. 1 year. I have one more year.
You're about halfway through.
Yeah, I'm exactly like right now. This week, next year will be the time I come back for good. And then hopefully by August or September, I'm going to grad
How he
school.
started this, so he's got his degree in Rutgers, and he went to DC and was an intern for them, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Intern for Peace Corps,
Which
was funny because I didn't really want that internship. I was kind of given it with my internship program I took over the summer. I was just obsessed. Like, I'm not a hippie wanting to go to Africa to be to save the world, but
dig water wells.
Yeah, and it was more than that. I heard lots of stories about just different countries. And I was like, it sounds something that I would be interested in doing. So I applied just to apply to see if I would get accepted, and then by the time December rolled around, I had to get my medical clearance through. So I was like, nope, I'm going to commit
Did you
to
have
it.
to take some shots and stuff?
We get shots there. I got just
So they're still
malaria
doing that.
shots and things that are not a huge concern. There's not a lot. There's no
Not like it used to be, I guess.
Yeah.
When I
that's
was a
good.
military brat, when we were going over to the Philippine Islands, we had to take a bunch of shots.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't even have to take a shot for traveling to Thailand. Yeah, just
So the Peace Corps is actively seeking volunteers. Is there an age limit? Are there any limitations?
I'm not like an expert with what Peace Corps wants, but you have to have a college degree. Generally, they look for people with the same experience. There's volunteers for everything, agriculture to teaching English.
So is it dependent on what part of the world you would be going to?
Yeah, so I think there might be more agriculture and childhood development in African countries, more agriculture in South American countries, or childhood development, or I know they do like HIV and malaria education in some African countries. Thailand has childhood development, but Peace Corps China is specifically teaching English at a university. Yeah, teaching English is more of a broad one that a lot of people with any type of educational background can pursue. We get TEFL training, so we're able to do our job correctly. Not perfectly, but most of us are in our 20s.
Do they want you to have some Chinese, or do they expect you
Nope.
to pick that up when you get there?
They don't. I mean, you should learn Chinese to develop relations in your community. But some people decide that once they're done with the Peace Corps training for Chinese, that they don't really need it. Some are, some of them study more and become really good in Chinese. I'm at the, I still I still keep learning each week some new phrases, new words. I could be studying more, but I'm not studying.
Well, you're immersed in it. You're immersed in the culture. That's really the best way to learn it.
Yeah. So and also each Chinese province has its own dialect, which is quite funny.
Like Cantonese or Mandarin.
Yeah. Or it's like Mandarin is what Beijing speaks. Chongqing has Chongqing dialect. Sichuan has its own dialect. All the different provinces have their own little dialect of what they say.
Well, the thing I liked about Mandarin is you basically only had to deal with 4 tones.
4 tones.
But with Cantonese, it was like 10 or 11 tones.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, how to speak that language. But all the dialects in the provinces, besides whatever provinces speak Cantonese, they have the 4 tones. That's the cool thing with Mandarin, or with Chinese language in general. In the written Chinese, everyone can understand each other. This in simplified Chinese or even traditional. But when it comes to speaking, someone in Chongqing might not understand someone in Shanghai unless they're both speaking Mandarin. Because Shanghai-hua is very difficult to understand for someone from Chongqing, for example. But written, they can text each other fine, because that's the interesting and cool thing about their language. Where English, if I can't understand someone in West Virginia, I'm kind of
kind of like if somebody from Boston comes down to Mississippi and starts trying to communicate with somebody down in Mississippi.
Playing soccer in college, I had a friend from Leeds, UK, and I could not understand anything he was saying. You're out, come. I was like, what?
Running their words together.
Yeah.
Let's take a break here, and maybe we'll continue this. Maybe we'll get a call from Matt Moreno from the practice field at U of A here on 1030 The Voice. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera. Thanks for asking some good questions, Tom. I don't ask those questions of him because I know kind of what's going on. But continue, please. What I wanted to ask you, Cameron, you played soccer most of your life. I played a little college ball, and you said you missed it. Do you miss competing?
I miss what I experienced in like Tucson Soccer Academy, like what is now FC Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I miss that because just the best part of my life. Just we had a good team, so that's why I miss
Winning, the
winning, the
camaraderie.
I'm very competitive. The teamwork.
The camaraderie.
When it was good, it was good. Practicing, I just like going to practice. I miss, even if it was running 100, like, running in fitness practices, I kind of miss that now and wish I appreciated it more back then.
How so?
Well, I was a goalkeeper, so I didn't
You
enjoy running.
you did
I was
not.
awful at
You
it.
did not have your dad's speed.
I'd be-
You or your brother. But you guys lollygag.
Well, I'm getting it now, so I'm doing the opposite.
Oh, are you? As you get older.
I'm enjoying running now, but because I'm not forced to do it. But I miss the competitive nature of growing up. It's just I learned a lot of lessons and learned how to take criticism with my coaches. I really have a high regard for all my coaches.
No, in fact, I think that was probably my question to you guys was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, as you got older, became men. Now with him in the Army and having to get yelled at in his situation, me and you growing up or whatever, me the disciplinarian, what you learned from me, and you don't have to talk about this, you don't. You know what I'm saying? It probably prepared you for what was ahead, kind of.
I think I just was taught that, life not life sucks, but life is tough.
Life is tough. You got
And
to
I'm
get
not
through it.
gonna. And I when I became 18, I was kind of self on my own.
Mhm.
I didn't ask for help a lot.
Right.
I mean, I don't like asking for help. I don't like to hear like a lot of these generalizations that millennials are the lazy generation, and
Mhm.
because I think we are one of the hardest working generations because we're growing up in a totally different atmosphere than our grandparents worked. You guys worked. We're in a whole different age, and you can't compare. And that's what I learned in Peace Corps too. You really can't compare experiences because we all grew up in different levels, and each generation is going to.
Oh, sure.
But I think I learned hard work, effort, and just not to be lazy. Growing up, I went to practice almost 5 times a week. I did extra practice. You
Mhm.
had Amy Gerlich
Mhm.
on a couple weeks ago for the women's soccer. I practiced. I helped. I went to her practices for her team to help them out, but also it's also very good for me to go to extra practices for myself.
Did you listen to that, or you just knew I did? Had her
I
on?
think that's just what I grew up.
No. You knew I had her on the show.
I
You
saw
didn't-
you on Facebook. I
Oh,
do
okay.
watch. I do see some things of yours on
Oh,
Facebook. I
wow.
just don't.
Look at that. Just don't like me. See, he
I
said
just don't.
he was me looking for likes. My son
Because at
doesn't
this
like-
point, you like something and you get notifications that other people have
Oh,
liked
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and it's just
it's-
like I don't even want to. Yeah.
Yeah,
I make one comment and then people will just also add comments.
I get it.
I just learned life is tough, but doesn't mean that it sucks. I think.
True.
I think you have the sucks more aspect, but I come from a positive attitude.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished by me.
So is life is what you make it? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Pretty much. I mean, that's
one of the things I'm not sure if I came up with it, but I just
So you don't necessarily believe in destiny?
no.
'Cause
Well, I don't know.
wait.
I think
Wait.
I came up with anyways. I say this thing where the cup is always full. I don't see it half full. I don't see it half empty. When you have a cup on Earth, you have half the space filled up with a liquid. I mean, in the theoretical sense. Then the other half is still full of something, whether it's air particles, dust particles.
Yeah.
Not to get too scientific there. I mean,
Or philosophical. Philosophical.
I
have to apologize to you, Cameron, for
Yeah.
using you as a foil to get at your dad.
Yeah.
No. Because I talk about this. I don't believe in destiny. I believe in destiny. Right? That's what I've said.
That's right. That's
believe in
why.
destiny.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I don't know. I thought my destiny was to be a doctor at one point. That didn't happen. I thought my destiny was to play soccer throughout
Well,
college.
you don't know what your destiny is. You'll know.
I guess so, but
I can tell you what it's going
That
to
means
be,
there's a-
Cameron. You're going to end up coaching soccer.
No, I don't think so.
No? Why not?
it would be goalkeeping because that's just my.
That's
But-
what it's, yeah, but no, I don't think so. Probably teaching somewhere in D.C.
Well, he's teaching in China.
I think that's a
He
means to an
likes
end.
soccer. He misses the camaraderie
But
of
this-
being involved with a team sport.
In my life, it's just been I've been so good at sciences and maths, and I went to school for it. But then I ended up changing my major halfway through. Still somehow making it 4 years, but to political science and economics. from.
We need to get Mr. Kaufman
So-
into the picture.
Things
Yeah, we
that
do. We do.
don't seem to, he likes soccer and and he's teaching now maybe, but who knows? I might right now my trajectory is kind of, I don't even know where it's going to go.
Right.
I don't have a plan anymore. I used to have a plan. I don't have a
Destiny
plan.
will come about and bite you in the butt.
But
Okay, fine.
I always see the cup full, so I think you should just don't look and regret things, but learn from those mistakes or
Sure,
learn from
sure.
those experiences. And,
You've been listening well, my young son. Snatch the pebble from my hand.
yeah, just I don't listen to the negativity. Or the life
There's-
sucks.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Yeah. I am a sports writer, a sports critic,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm not that bad on the show. I just kind of say it how it is. I'm not that negative, am I, Tom?
No, where'd you get the idea that I was saying you're negative?
No. I'm just saying because that's what he's painting the picture to be.
Well, I
But
think,
I like Cameron's attitude of life is what you make it,
Sure.
yeah, yeah.
more so than yours as destiny rules.
At the end of the day, it will.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it will.
So what are they doing at the practice field? Are they
Well-
just doing walkthroughs? Are they in pads? They're probably
No,
just doing walkthroughs and stuff.
No pads, but probably working out. I just got a call or text from Moreno, who should be calling me any moment now. I expected him to call maybe 10 minutes ago, but they started late. He started practice late, which means the media is still allowed in the facility. Once they're not allowed, he'll call me. But it's like 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes. They let them watch him for 30 minutes, kick them out, then practice. So we can't tape or we can't.
So what are they letting them watch?
That's good point. This is exactly what we asked. Nothing. Them stretch, them work out a little, but nothing play wise.
But you wouldn't think they would be doing anything as far as any special plays or anything in
No.
this first day of practice. Why couldn't they let them watch the whole practice?
Because that's just what it is. That's exactly how we are. How they are.
all right.
It's just what it is. They don't allow you to do that. Don't get too comfortable, Tom. I mean, that's what they tell you. Don't get too comfortable. Don't.
All right. So, okay. Well, we'll get a good report from Matt. We'll find out what the heck is going on in that
Yeah, I'm
nice
hoping-
air-conditioned, climate-controlled facility that
I'm
they
hoping
have.
he calls. We have about 9 minutes left on the show, so I'm hoping he calls me with at least 5 minutes left, so we can get a quick synopsis.
Are
of
you
what happened.
texting him, or is he listening to the show?
I doubt it. You're the only one listening to this show.
Well, if anyone wants to join in or let us know what's going on with the Arizona football practice, 790-2040.
I got another text, and this is going to be kind of funny to you, Tom. So I believe in destiny, but I don't believe in much in it. Do you believe in momentum?
It's enough energy.
In a sporting
with
event,
enough coffee,
particularly.
Oh, with the
I think that's what I've always
With the
referred
what?
to when I'm talking about momentum is how things can shift and change during a game.
Well, when you have enough fire under your butt, I guess the momentum can change. That's growing up with my soccer coaches.
Mm-hmm. See, I don't.
Yelling at halftime sometimes works.
Oh yeah. But I don't believe in momentum because you're playing at the same. You're playing, and you can get hot, you can get cold in certain situations. And if momentum was the case, you'd be hot all the way through. Playing with that momentum.
So there you go, Cameron. Steve is a destiny guy, and I'm a momentum guy, and
a philosopher.
it never do the twain meet,
Yeah,
or something
no,
like that.
No, that's why he can only take 2-3 days of me during the week. Somebody else fills in for the other 2. But
Well,
it's
no, I think it's the other way around. I think you can only take about 3 days of me.
Tom, don't be how can I say this? It's the case with everybody.
Oh, all right.
It could be anybody. 2-3 days with me, and you say, "Oh God, get me out of here."
No, I'm having a good time.
And vice
I
versa.
enjoy my time with you. Don't do that.
I had 18 years of it.
He's
18.
got us beat. He's got me beat.
That's why he moved away out of the country.
Yeah, China. My goodness, that's over on the other side of the world.
As far as possible.
All right. With an occasional text. How you doing? Okay, I'll talk to you next month.
the narrative doesn't change.
No, I know.
Most boring.
For both
mostly
of us.
boring.
Hey, how you doing? Well, you know how men are. And this now I'm going to get in a man versus women thing. Tom, how are you? Okay. How are you? Okay. And then we don't have to talk to each other for another month. Pretty much. Hey, how you doing? Okay. Talk to you later.
No. Sort of like the Tim Allen approach.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, beer, okay, car, yeah. Pretty much.
Well, it became like in college, I think parents call their sons or daughters every single day and they expect a different story. When reality is like, no, I've studied all week. I partied all weekend. It's going to happen the next week. I passed this class. I didn't pass this class. It's just, what else do you want?
Right. No, we still get it now. My mom. You know my mom. You know my mom. You call her grandma.
Mm-hmm.
She does the same thing to me. How come you don't call me up and enough? And what did you do today? What did you do last week? And it doesn't matter the age, there, Cameron. Doesn't matter the age. I'm always curious, right, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
As the basketball turns and as the football spins.
Spins, yes. And now we're in the middle of the beginning of the football spinning. So next week we'll
College
talk.
and pros. I guess everybody's reported in the NFL as of today.
Well, they should have. Not many of some of the players did not show up. I guess somebody showed up with the Raiders in a hot air balloon. You give enough people money and they'll do whatever they want.
Was the balloon shaped like Darth Vader by any chance?
I don't know. I saw
the
that
helmet, the Darth Vader helmet.
I saw that earlier on the internet, but I'm pretty sure it was with the Raiders. Brown. I don't know. Antonio Brown, maybe. It could have been Antonio Brown. But you're not a big NFL guy.
No, just
Baseball
family
guy.
friends.
Family friends. Oh yeah. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. What else? Anything else, Tom? You want to ask my Chinese guy?
Well, I thought maybe we'd find out a little something from Matt, but I have a feeling from discussing it with you, Matt probably wouldn't be able to tell us much more than what you just told us.
No. I know enough right now that he does.
Yeah. It's just they're just doing walkthroughs today. There's really no reason to keep the press out, but they're going to do it anyway just to get them used to it, I guess.
That's the way it's been for a long time. Rich Rod did it for a long time. In the last decade, it happened under Greg Byrne when he arrived. That's how it kind of started. Because obviously Dick Tomey didn't do it. I don't think Mike Stoops did it. And after that, it was just it was Rich Rod after Stoops.
Now, when you've flown across the wide Pacific, Cameron, what did you fly on? A380s, 747s, what?
R2D2. I know less about planes than I do about other sports and soccer. I don't know, whatever.
Well, one of the big
guys.
Delta.
It was Delta. It was the
had to be a 747
it was
something like that.
It was 3-4. Was it 3-4-3? The layout. So
yeah, you had like
maybe it's 7.
Two seats by the windows on either side, and then maybe four seats in the center or something like that.
I think it was 3-4-3 or 3-5-3. Is that a thing?
It could be an A380. Yeah.
I just remember the lady behind me with her knees on my seat that I couldn't recline and didn't want to cause trouble with her little brats.
So you didn't go on.
Life is not a box of chocolates.
Well, the Chinese family was talking to me very nicely and, talking about life in China, and the little girl, the 5-year-old girl, had pretty good English, actually.
So you go all the way from the West Coast into Beijing or one of the international airports in China?
On the way back, I came Shanghai, or my layover in Shanghai to LAX. Now it's LAX Shanghai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of volunteers, they like to have a layover in some other place just for 2 days, and then
Still about a 14-hour flight. Huh?
It'll be altogether from the 3 flights back. It's gonna be like 19, 20 hours. Not too bad, but the jet lag
includes the layover awful. Times. Yeah.
Yeah, but the jet lag is awful. I'm still suffering from it 3 days in. Yeah, but it's getting there. Tomorrow we should be fine. Or by the end of my trip here, I should get.
Well, I've enjoyed the conversation with your son, Cameron, Steve.
Good. Send him money when he's out in China. Hey, we got a quick call from Matt Boyden. I just had him text me real quick.
Let's get Matt on here. Go ahead, Matt.
How are you? You got about a minute. You got about 30 seconds. How did it go so far?
I think it was pretty typical first day of practice. I think there was, some excitement about guys that maybe we haven't seen yet. But it was typical first day. There were some guys that are definitely making some mistakes and hearing about it from the coaches. So we'll see what happens as things move forward. But definitely look kind of like the first day jitters for a lot of guys, and we'll see what happens from here.
Great. I'll see you in a bit. They're going to open practice again at the end, right? In about, an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll see you soon. Thanks a bunch for the quick
Yes, sir.
call. All right.
Yep.
Take care.
No problem.
Well, thanks, Cameron, for coming in.
Thank
having
you.
passed 2 hours of sports issues. Tom, thanks for staying awake.
Not at all. No problem. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Cameron.
No, thank you.
Yes, maybe you'll be back before you leave. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera. Take care.